Hi, I welcome you all for our today's session on Wien Bridge oscillator. Right, we all know an amplifier which employs a positive feedback and also if it satisfies the Barkhausen criteria can be utilized as an oscillator. Right. In the oscillator, we will be having two network. One is your amplifying network. The other one is going to be a feedback network. If the feedback network is comprised of resistors and capacitors, then that is referred as RC oscillators. One such RC oscillator is your Wien bridge oscillator. Now we are going to discuss the circuit diagram and the frequency of oscillation of this Wien bridge oscillator. This is going to be the circuit diagram of our Wien bridge oscillator. We can take this oscillator circuit into two parts. One is the amplifier stage. Okay, so the whatever I had highlighted here is going to be the amplifying network, right? So in this, it is a two-stage amplifier. You can just look at the input, where the input is given and where the output is extracted. On observing, we could identify both the Q1 and Q2 are in common emitter configuration. We already know the common emitter configuration is capable to produce a phase shift of 180 degree. Clear? Right. So if I'm making use of two stage of common emitter amplifier, the first stage would produce a 180 degree phase shift and the second stage would produce a phase shift of 180 degree. Therefore, in the amplifier stage itself, we have obtained a phase shift of 360 degree. Okay, we could obtain the total phase shift of 360 degree within our amplifier stages itself, right? So in this R5, R6, R7, R8 are referred as the voltage divider resistor, which are responsible for the bias stability. RC1, RC2 are the collector resistor of the transistor Q1 and Q2 respectively. RE is the emitter resistor. Just look at here. Here we hadn't connected any bypass capacitor. Therefore, obviously it is an unbypassed emitter resistor. Clear? The CC are referred as the coupling capacitor. The entire source is going to be only the DC source VCC. We have taken the output from Vout, right? This output is fed back through a feedback network into the base of your first transistor. Okay, now let us get into the feedback network. Okay, the one which is highlighted is going to be the feedback network. Okay, so you can just look at the nodes A, B, C and D. Okay, here we are having a series combination of resistors R1 and C1. Here the parallel combination of R2 and C2. Okay, so these two resistances, okay, these two ohms resistances will function as the frequency sensitive ohms. Why? Because means these R1, R2, R2, C1 and C2 will determine the frequency of oscillation of this Wien bridge oscillator. Right. We already know while constructing a bridge network, we have to take care in mind that the opposite ohm impedances should be of an identical value. Okay. While designing this bridge, Wien bridge, we have to take care whether the opposite ohms are equal so that the bridge will remain in the balanced condition. As already told, the node AB and BC are referred as the frequency sensitive ohms since it determines the frequency of oscillations. Whereas this R3 and R4 resistor are used to improvise the stability of the oscillator circuit. That is, the amplitude should not get a fluctuating one even after it has become a sustained one. Okay, there should not be any variations in that. In order to make that into effect, we are making use of this R3 and R4 resistor, right? So what happens here actually means we have applied only the DC supply. Okay, even if we don't apply any input at all, that definitely at the output side we will be having certain noise sequences. Here we are applying the VCC. Okay, depending upon the value of resistor R5 and R6, that is depending upon the voltage dividing, what happens, the voltage gets divided here. Okay, And what happens here, we are having two-stage amplification. So even it is going to be a mere noise signal, the output is going to be a noise signal. Then what happens, this noise signal is fed back through the feedback network to the base of our transistor Q1. Okay, what happen if the input is going to be the amplified noise? Okay, so again this amplified noise is going to be amplified further. This process is going to be cumulative until we reach a certain amplitude. Okay, so that we could incorporate certain non-linear effect in order to make our amplitude stabilized. Okay, so before that we would have got an output waveform like this, that is the noise signal. Okay, here it is a noise signal. Okay, I don't know whether it is a sine wave or anything else, but what happens, since we are having a two-stage amplification, as the time increases or the frequency increases, what happens, the amplitude keep on increasing. Okay, at that stage when I include certain non-linear effects, automatically the amplitude will get stabilized. Okay, so that we could generate a sinusoidal waveform of fixed amplitude. The amplitude is determined by R3 and R4 and the frequency is determined by R1, C1, R2 and C2. Is it okay? Right. Now, so as I had told already, the common emitter stage itself produces a phase shift of 0 degree or 360 degree. Okay, the feedback network is nothing but the balanced bridge. Okay, so in this R1 C1 R2 C2 is referred as the lead lag network. Okay, and R1 C1 R2 C2 is referred as the frequency sensitive arms. This since it determines the frequency of oscillations. So before getting into that, let me take what is a lead lag network. So at very low frequency, this lead lag network will act as a leader. Whereas at a higher frequency, it acts as a lag network, that it will be going lower than the expected one. Okay. So in the balanced condition, the phase shift required is going to be 0. Therefore, in balanced condition, we have considered the feedback network alone. Okay, just look at the circuit diagram. We have taken only the node AB and BC. So already we have told these are the frequency sensitive arms. AB node has a series combination of R1 C1 and BC node has a parallel combination of R2 and C2. This parallel combination is combinedly referred as Z2 and this series combination is referred as Z1. Clear? Right. So in this, what we have taken in the sense that R1 and R2 are of identical value, C1 and C2 are of identical value. So if I go and substitute in this particular expression, so this is for the balanced condition. Okay. So if I substitute the values in the balanced condition, what happens? R3 becomes equal to twice that of your R4 resistor. That is, in order to maintain our Wien bridge to be a balanced one, we have to take care in mind that the value of the R3 resistor should be always equal to twice that of your R4 resistor. Okay. So, and one another thing, we have just taken the Z1. Okay, Z1 is nothing but series combination of R1 and your C1. Okay, here we have taken the reactance. In particular, it is a capacitive reactance. Okay, Xc can be written as 1 by j omega C1. Okay, here we have taken the LCM and we have obtained 1 plus j omega R1 C1 divided by j omega C1. Similarly, R2 is Z2 is the parallel combination of resistor R2 and C2. Okay, here also I have applied the capacitive reactance. Okay, taken the LCM and simplified this expression. So in both the Z1 and Z2, we are just going to replace this j omega into S. I am just converting the omega plane into S plane. Okay, so if I substitute, Z1 becomes equal to 1 plus SR1 C1 divided by SC1 and Z2 becomes equal to R2 divided by 1 plus S R2 C2. Right. So this is going to be the simplified circuit. Okay, this is nothing but series combination of R1 C1. This is the parallel combination of R2 and C2. The total input is V in. The current flowing in this path is referred as I. The feedback is nothing but voltage across the node B and C. Clear? Right. Now, we have given the formula to find out the loop current I. Okay. I is equal to, according to Ohm's law, I equal to V by R. Therefore, V in divided by Z1 plus Z2. Okay. And also, Vf can be written as current flowing through Z2 into Z2. Okay. Now, actually speaking, I have substituted the current expression over here. Now, our motto is to find out the feedback factor, which is nothing but ratio of feedback voltage and the input voltage, Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2. Okay. We already calculated what is Z1 and Z2. Just we have substituted this thing. Okay. In terms of S domain, I have substituted the values of Z1 and Z2. Right? Right. So upon simplification, okay, we have just substituted, and in this I have multiplied each and every term. Okay. So and then we have taken the form, that is 1 plus S square. In that format we have taken it. We also know S can be replaced by J omega and S square can be replaced as J omega the whole square. We know the value of J square is going to be minus 1, and therefore minus omega square. In the place of S square, I am substituting minus omega square, and in the place of S, we are substituting J omega. Okay. So in this expression, what we have taken, that neglecting the zero values, we have obtained this particular expression. So from this, we need to find out what is the angular frequency, and then the linear frequency is calculated such that F is equal to 1 by 2 pi square root of R1, R2, C1 and C2. Okay. So in this, if we assume identical values for R1, R2 and C1, C2, what happen? We will be getting R square C square. Square root of R square C square can be written as RC itself. Therefore, the frequency of oscillation can be written as 1 by 2 pi RC, provided that R1 equal to R2 equal to R and C1 is equal to C2 is equal to C. If this condition is not there, means we have to go up with this expression. Right? This is the frequency of oscillation. Right. Now, we need to calculate the gain. Okay. Already we have the beta, that is the feedback factor. So, in that we know F is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC. That is 2 pi F is nothing but omega, that is equal to 1 by RC. In the place of omega, we are just going to substitute this value 1 by RC. Okay. Cancel out the common terms. While simplifying, we have got beta is equal to 1 by 3. Okay. This is the magnitude of the feedback network. That is, the feedback factor is 1/3 percentage. Okay. So here the positive sign indicates that is the feedback network has only 0 phase shift. Okay. And one another Barkhausen criteria is going to be modulo A beta greater than or equal to 1. We know the value of this 1 by beta, and that's why we have substituted this thing, and therefore the modulus of open loop gain should be always equal to greater than or equal to 3. Okay. This is the required gain for the amplifier stage, so that the feedback network should not contain any phase shift over this. We have to keep up in mind all this design criteria while designing the Wien bridge oscillator. These are the few advantages of Wien bridge oscillator. It produces a fantastic frequency stability. When compared to the RC phase shift oscillator, it could produce a pure sine wave with stabilized amplitude. Okay. Moreover, the frequency is not get affected, but whereas only limitation of a Wien bridge is going to be the frequency of oscillation depends upon the discrete components. That is, we depend upon R1, R2, C1, C2. Even if one value is not up to the mark, we could not obtain the desired frequency of oscillation. So that is the only disadvantage of our Wien bridge oscillator. So that we will be letting into the some other oscillator in order to overcome such limitation of Wien bridge oscillator. Okay. Hope I had clearly explained the concept of the Wien bridge oscillator to the maximum extent. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you.